Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Movies. I'm your host, Sean, aka Puff Comics, and I'm joined by Varangian Vigilante. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, was looking forward to this. Today, talking a movie that I haven't seen since I was a fucking teenager, which, even though it doesn't look like it, was a while ago.
It felt like it was yesterday, man, because that's how
Yeah,
this movie felt once I put it in and I started watching. It
just
felt like it just took me back to the mid-90s when I
yeah,
first watched this film, during my high school years.
yeah, just felt like yesterday swapping animes on VHS and
Oh, man.
early CD-ROMs back in the day in the classroom and downloading hentai and those were the days.
Man, I'll never forget. I had a friend named Ricardo. Shout out to him if he ever, wherever he's at. But man, he used to use his tapes. Right, he would have the first 2 hours of it, like first 3 hours of it, anime movies. But then the last portion of the tape was either hentai, porn, or all that stuff. So
My personal recommendation for everybody: cool devices. Trust me, bro. um, yes, back in the day, I remember this was just end of the mid 90s, end of the 90s when anime really became a thing, like here in Europe, and like every Monday at midnight at the German TV station, they played like an anime movie, like. At midnight. So remember, everybody on Tuesday in school was tired, but everybody saw it. And those are the glory days. And Ninja Scroll was also one of these movies that, that was like handed around, and everybody was like, how cool it was, gory, you had nudity, you had gore, everything a teenage soul wanted. And I have to say, it holds up, and I miss glorious, glorious, unapologetic, testosterone dripping animes like that, which also have a very deep story and a very this one has everything. And you know what? Also, it has. Is it everything in 95 fucking minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, like not fucking 4 seasons with fillers and shit. No, one movie, full glory, done.
I mean, you got a whole season of a series, and it's like freaking 20 filler episodes in between that. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, the length of this film is perfect. The characters are great, especially Jubilee, the main lead character.
Yeah.
And the animation is so good.
Hand-drawn animation is superior to digital animation. It's just, it has more soul and everything. Personally, and as we talked before, we can't get into digital animation. Tolerate it at best, but hand-drawn animation it hits different.
It's crazy when I was watching Gunsmith Cats and just how good the animation was, especially on the chase scene during the middle of that series. The car looked fucking fantastic. I'm like, damn, this shit look good.
Or Cowboy Bebop, not the Netflix, the anime series back in the day. It was so great because we also got all of these on VHS. So I remember when the local gaming store got only 2 VHS of a movie. So in the school break, we ran there. Whoever grabbed it first got it. So it was, and then all the trailers. When I think my first VHS was Record of Lodoss, one of my favorite animes from back in the day. And then you had all the trailers, from Cowboy Bebop, the Angel Cop was a trailer on it, Gunsmith Cats, and this, of course, I need this everything. But this was, of course, before the time where you could order it on the internet or get it otherwise. There were no streaming services. No. There was please have it at my gaming store, even though it's fucking overpriced. I'm here, have my pocket money. Hey,
what's up, geek? Man, the fucking VHSs for animes back in those days were ridiculous prices.
He was like back in the day before we had the euro. So this was like 500 billion, which basically, as a comparison, when we went out and we like on the weekends, we went out like with 20 to 50 shilling, which got us like 5 beers. So the fucking tastes were expensive, and I think even played like 600 for Urotsukidochi, the Legend of the Overfiend. Totally worth it, by the way. Hey,
Oh
Dan.
man,
Fatal Fury
was
glorious.
That take me back there, man.
Those were the days, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, it was either Chinatown, because I remember, me and my friends going up to Chinatown in Manhattan just to hit up the video game shops, just to hit up the anime shops and all this stuff. It was a glorious time to see all that stuff right there.
Yeah.
And then you had your spots. Like I lean more towards the bootleg spots. And even those guys were selling them for like $15, $20 because they were highly high demand. People really wanted them. And when you see tapes like Dragon Ball Z and the Vampire Hunter D and stuff like that going for like $20, $25, like, man, but I really wanted it. And I remember I bought a couple of Dragon Ball Z tapes, the movies and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so every time it was like on TV, immediately you had to record it because this was like a treasure.
And it was a rarity.
And there's still some things, that I still wish I had the VHS. I think luckily some are like on YouTube. But for example, like I remember watching on TV Lily Cat, which is a fantastic alien rip-off anime, like body horror. It's like a mixture of Alien and John Carpenter's The Thing. Absolutely glorious. This thing was never fucking released on DVD here, even. Like it's like you can't even find it.
All of them, man.
And especially I think like the holy trifecta of that made like anime really popular. Yeah, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and actually Ninja Scroll, which I think that actually from those three, that Ninja Scroll is very underrepresented, like in the talk about anime, because of course, even though I have to say that I'm not the biggest fan of Akira, because the movie it's like basically, if you haven't read the manga, the movie makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, but Ghost in the Shell, absolutely love it.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell was one of those that, like I said, like my uncle introduced me to that in Fist of the North Star. And I was like blown away, not only by just the quality of the animations, but how detailed the stories were. Like Fist of the North Star is pretty simplistic, but it's brutal when it comes to the fight scenes. Like, and I just ate that shit up. Kenneth, what's up? But yes, Ninja Scroll.
Absolutely. And like I said, 95 minutes, everything in there, action-packed. You have like emotions in there. You have like intrigues in there. You have a fantastic mixture of the Edo period of Japan with like some body horror, some cosmic horror. So it actually feels also like very sword and sorcery, like some, especially like some scenes, and like perfect pacing. The characters are all fleshed out, and I'm so laughing, with Yubei, that like right in the beginning, the scene at the bridge, you get to know everything what you need to know about him, like in that scene already.
Eating his little right thing.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah, and also I have to say, even though I used like from the English dubbing, like a quote here, never watch not the German or not an English dubbing. Go with subtitles and the original Japanese, because I got actually here the Korean version, which has like only like the Japanese in Korean and the English, and I watched it once with the Japanese. With the English subtitles and once in the English. And in the English, like Jubei has like way too young voice. Doesn't work at all.
Especially when the character, with the way how he's fleshed out throughout the movie, he's like at least in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
He's a seasoned ninja.
Exactly, he has like some adventures already behind him. As also like as we, like he has a whole like a whole fight with Gamma like already in the past.
Yeah, 5 years.
Mhm.
But and when I watched the series, the Ninja Scroll series, I just couldn't get into the voice, and it was the same thing you described with the English dub of this. Is that his voice sounds too young?
Yeah, and I'm so happy. I think this was actually a real game changer for collectors. That when DVD came out and you had like an option in which language you want to listen to it. Because I remember back in the day, uh, since I actually started watching movies in English when I was 13, 14. And I had like to import like via like a local store like movies from the UK. So I remember, like import like from Dusk Till Dawn and other movies in the UK VHS. Because of course you couldn't get like the American ones because of the PAL NTSC like
Yeah.
difference. It was a whole other thing. Yeah, it were wild days. The one like on the one hand, it was like very adventurous, like to get everything. On the other hand, I really love it that today, I can just order this like from Korea with free shipping via Amazon and just have it here like in a few days. Wow, back in the days, you put the order in a local bookstore or a local media store, and then you waited like months until you get a letter that you can pick it up.
Nice. Still got the rhythm
Oh
VHS.
damn! Oh macros! I have not seen that in a while. Oh,
Like I said, some of them I haven't seen in a while, but then
yeah,
once you start watching it, it hits you. You're like, yep, I remember exactly what happens, man.
I absolutely miss like also like reading manga. My favorite was of course like Fairy Fetish or Bondage Fairy. Like
Yeah.
uh,
Somebody used to post a lot of bondage fairies back when she was on Instagram early on,
yeah.
before she disappeared. She used to love that
Oh,
series.
that was glorious. That like that opened a whole new kink. Like
And
well, like
once you see your first hentai, it's like, oh my god, what is this?
Yeah, that ruined us all back in the day.
But yeah, like Jubei is just one of those characters that's he got an amazing design, and I love the fact that he's a powerful ninja that has actual power because he don't even have to just be near you to cut you down. He can just pull out his sword and then bam, you're already cut down. He has that ability to just do one swipe with it, and the power of that sword just hits you and cut you in half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but also like still vulnerable. So
Yeah,
and I absolutely love like the whole power system in this world. Yeah, like even my favorite anime of all time was like Captain Harlock, the space pirate Captain Harlock, which I remember watching like as a kid on German TV because they thought it's an animated must be for kids. So like after 13 seasons, they canceled it. But yeah, it's just Japanese animation, especially back in the day, hand drawn, is unbeatable. And like with Ninja Scroll, what I also like, when I researched today that basically that every scene, nothing is reused, everything hand drawn, like everything unique, and just like the labor of love that is put in there is it's just like I'm like I'm sure I'm just so happy that we grew up like to witness this with way too young eyes to actually witness it.
Hey, one thing about my uncle, he didn't mind showing us the blood and gore of Fist of the North Star and all that stuff. Because, this was during like my early, like I was in like 11, 12, watching these. And he was like, you're getting there in age, so I'm going to show you this stuff anyway. And then I remember in junior high, I had a science teacher. He showed on Fridays, was like relaxed day for us. So he would show a Street Fighter 2 the animated movie. He would show us Evil Dead, Army of Darkness and horror stuff. So I was like, shit, this is the coolest science teacher I ever had.
Yeah, absolutely glorious. Yeah. Also, like I remember, like with one of my uncles, like he also like got us like VHS. I think it was like the first time I watched. I think it was like the Cleopatra movie, which actually also should not be seen by kids. However, well, I guess it's better to get good movies from uncles than be molested by uncles. So there's that. So.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But all that stuff though was taking me back. And I've been, not to deviate, even though we've been deviating a lot. But Genocyber, you heard of that one?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I've been watching that on this anime source on YouTube. Like he's like posting stuff. Yeah, it did get dark with it. That's why I don't time.
Yeah, Jimmy, you should watch us more often. Like I especially me.
Hey,
like,
VV will go there. I just let him go there and stuff like that. But yeah, Genocyber is crazy. It's crazy. I don't really want to go into details and explain it, but if look that one up and watch the first episode, you just see just how ridiculous and crazy it is. You talk about body horror galore. That one is full of it. It does not shy away from children getting murdered at all.
Glory to Japanese. But yeah, Ninja, back to Ninja Scroll. The whole plot, like very simple but very effective. I absolutely love like the fight with the 8 devils. I also love this story. That it has like actually like a real true plot about. Taking over power in Japan, the Dark Shogun, like also secretly plotting that he wants to take over, while of course, arguing to buy the Spanish weapons, to have more power than the state. So it has like a lot of cool intrigues in it, and I also really loved the trio of heroes. That goes up against the power of the Dark Shogun.
Kagero is the more interesting character outside of Jubei because of she's walking poison, and any man or woman that tried to make love to her or rape her and stuff like that, they immediately get poisoned and die. And we see this. We see this with the big rock hard beast, literally, because he has a cool design. Stop it. But he has a cool design, and he has a weapon that just mows down all the ninjas that was there watching. Because they sent the Chamberlain sent ninjas over to investigate the Southern Plague that is plaguing one of their towns, and while they're watching, he just come out there and throws his weapon and just slice all of them in half.
Yeah, and I absolutely love the one where he rips the arms off and then he drinks him.
He was sadistic as fuck.
Absolutely, and also what I love about Ninja Scroll is also that basically running away is always in vain.
You're not gonna survive.
Exactly, and but yeah, it's like I said, it's very interesting, that she has poison running through, and everybody who kisses her, sleeps with her, dies. Doesn't matter, head snoozing. So
yeah, so and again, the movie doesn't really dive into her background, but it's an interesting thing to discover about how she'll poison anybody that comes near her that tries to make love to her. So,
also, hand-drawn animated tits.
or better yet, how about the snake that comes out of nowhere?
Oh, that's glorious. That was
this movie held no bones back. They
Absolutely, it's this makes my my heart beat.
I not gonna lie though, as a kid I was disappointed that she got taken out. One of the demons, she's a snake. She has snakes all over her body, and I was kind of disappointed that she got taken out so quickly, man.
Yeah. Hey, Al. It's like there's worse ways to go. So.
Hey.
But yeah, it's like also like of course when I watched it first, when a hot chick is taking out, it's like don't waste it. It's still good. Like.
But yeah, like the demons, fantastic. I love how they have different ways of taking you out.
My favorite one is the one with the bees. Like,
the wasp, yes.
The wasp with the wasp, like that design is just this is how body horror should be. And
you really start to wonder, like, man, how the fuck can I be the dude who has a fucking nest of wasps on the back of his self?
Once, like when I was like in my 20s, like I had a nightmare that basically in the dream, like that basically ants like nested in my like whole arm, and it felt like rotten wood and everything. So when which was probably because I had it weirdly and it was like numb. But like when I woke up immediately, everything flashed good. But this is exactly when I see this scene, how like I remembered that dream.
Oh, he was fantastic. And of course we talked about Tessie, the guy who turns into rock. I like how Yubei took him out. Cause he was defeated at first.
I take the tongue work instead of the skyscraper.
But I like how when Yubei interrupted his pleasure that he was trying to achieve, and he started turning into his rock form, and Juba is like, oh, so I see your whole body turns rock hard, but does this? And he throws his knife right into his eye, man. That was a wicked shot right there.
Yeah.
And then he come back later after Jubei escaped with what's the name, and then he beats up Jubei not knowing that he was poisoned.
Yeah.
But he used his sword to slice across his chest, and he's like, "Oh, that doesn't hurt me." And then he started to crack apart.
What a body! Yeah, that was also so gloriously drawn.
Yeah, and then his death. When his head got impaled by his own weapon, and he just slid down. I was like, "Oh man."
I absolutely love like his weapon, also like the way, when she was like trying to flee from him, and you actually think that, she's like making a good way, and then just and she falls and he's there. It's the whole like I said, like all the portrayal of the devils, so fucking good. And absolutely, as a sword and sorcery fan, the mixture of having like a pseudo historic like version of real history along with eldritch horror in there, totally, that it's absolutely, that's actually like this movie could have the label sword and sorcery. And also like the scene, like spoiler alert, when she dies later and he takes like the gem and puts it like on him. That reminded me actually very much, when Valeria died in Conan, and Conan took like the eye of the snake and made like the medallion that he put around him. So I think it had like a very similar beat with Conan the Barbarian in that instance. So also like the sword and sorcery soul in me so pleased watching this movie.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the sense of honor, and even Jubei, when she offered, when she found out that her poison would take out his poison, because he got poisoned by Dakuan.
Yeah.
Dakuan. And
also a very interesting character.
I would say Dakuan is the mini comic relief, because he pops up out of nowhere, and he'll throw out a couple words that'll get you chuckling.
But a comic relief that doesn't suck. Like, but a comic relief that doesn't suck, and it
Yes,
is like used very sparingly
yes,
and effective.
yes. Because he's a government spy trying to figure out the situation of what's going on, and because gold is involved.
So as soon as gold is involved, the government isn't far from it.
Exactly, and he's the one that bring to Dubé's attention that Gemma is alive. And Gemma and Dubé had history because they both were part of the Shimo clan.
But how can it be? He was beheaded.
He was beheaded 5 years ago, but then come to find out, Gemma's immortal. And I love the buildup of we see Gemma in the shadows. We him talk to his right hand man Yumura, and he's in the shadows just giving orders. And we don't really get to see his full reveal until the later part of the film.
Boy, he's yoked.
So it's like I just love the build up to his character, and we getting the little backstory on him turning the clan against each other to kill Yubei, and Yubei killed them to survive, and then he just beheads Gemma out of revenge. So, like I said, the movie uses its runtime perfectly. It gives you some backstory. It gives you the setting of what's going on and what's the main plot, which is the gold that everybody's after.
Yeah, and like I always say that that I respect the director even more, because every decent storyteller could tell like this story like in 22 episodes. But only a fantastic storyteller can tell it in 95 minutes.
And that's the gem that this movie is. As the story goes on, like you really start to get attached to these characters.
And that's a tough that's like a tough task. Exactly, the pacing is like perfect. This is like one of these movies where I wouldn't change a beat. Like I watch it and I say like there is nothing to be improved on this movie, from the soundtrack, from the animation, from the characters, from the plot, from the storytelling. There's like this is the perfect anime.
And one of the things about Yorimara, he's Gemma's right hand man. He has a little thing with Sakura, and she's trying to like saying I love you. She's trying to make love to him, and he's like, "Let's get out of my face." I don't love you. This business. We ain't got time for that.
Don't disappoint him twice in a day.
But she took it personal, and
women always do, eh?
One thing she said, of course. One thing she said though is that Gemma makes love to both men and women. So it's like they playing his superiority over all his clansmen. Like, if I like you, it's the whole thing. If I like you, I'm gonna take you. And it plays off to that the whole who's gonna please the master the most.
A hole is a hole.
So like I said, there's little beats in there that you see with these characters. Like even the demons, they have their little back and forth. Like one of them says, "He's mine. Don't interfere. This is my kill." So there's a competition between them on who gets to kill Jubei and his people. So again, the movie just keeps going at a nice pace, and each scene with the 8 demons, they wrap up really nicely. Like they're not overly long fights. Because some movies tend to have fights that are great, but then sometimes they're just too long.
On some series of fights that last a few episodes.
Well, in the case of Dragon Ball Z, a fight that lasts a whole season.
Let's just say, I know like I'm in the minority here. I don't like Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball has its detractors.
Yeah, like everything was like too drawn out.
Especially during the Frieza saga, that shit was like ridiculous with how they drew that whole fight out. But Ninja Scrolls, each fight is handled within a few minutes, and they don't go past that because 95 minutes. You gotta, do right with your runtime.
Exactly.
But I wanna mention Dakuran again. The government spy. He poisoned Jubei to try and get him to work with him because he said, "I'll pay you 100 gold just to help me out."
Hey,
So
Big
Remo,
Remo.
yeah, there are
Exactly.
lots of layers.
Absolutely.
And Jubei was at, I'm not interested. He just wanted to move on with his life. But then, the poison is in him, and now he's forced to work with him. And it's like the worst thing that happens, be forced to work with somebody.
Yeah, and especially when it's for an antidote.
Ain't One Piece like 1,000 episodes long? Hey, are you gonna ignore the fact that this guy has poisonous size that he can just throw at you? And then Jubei was coughing up blood for most of the movie.
Teeth.
So, I mean, you don't get hit with a dart, and then next thing you know, you start coughing up blood every few minutes. But yeah.
Yeah, like One Piece I think was a little bit after my time, but I say it is like, for me still, Sailor Moon is perfect. I watched all Sailor Moon seasons back in the day on TV and loved every one of them.
One punch per episode. But yeah, I just looked at each fight scene with the demons in this was done well, especially the one with the wasp, and how he had to take him out, and just think about it. You being chased by a whole horde of wasps.
Once I fucking had like wasps on the balcony for one summer. And the thing is, you're not allowed to do anything because by law it's illegal to hurt them. So I had to wait for them to naturally go on. So, and let's just say that having having a few wasps at your window is already very menacing. So I don't want to fight like a devil that has like supernatural wasps.
No. He said that he changed it. It wasn't the same dart. The one that he threw back to him was a different one.
Exactly, he said like it's a different dart.
And I was like, this slick bastard.
Yeah, exactly. Sailor Moon is totally slapped on. It's glorious, and the storytelling is actually very mature. So, I just would like, yeah, and especially like also when you, with the manga, when you see the one that was not altered for the West because like they changed a lot of things for Western audiences in it.
I mean, Remo, look who we got in presidency right now. They all lie.
As always, every government always lies. Doesn't matter which one. Yeah.
They're gonna manipulate everybody to do their business.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Remo has a point. Like, if I would talk to a government agent, I would probably spit blood too, just because of talking to them.
But the way the movie just continues to go on, and then the resolution with the whole poison thing, it was like, I love when Jubei rejoins him, and Dakuran said, "Did you make love to the ninja girl?" And Jubei like, man, how you busy? We gotta deal with this shit.
I do have to say, I would love to have a government that would be concerned about me making love with a ninja girl. That's actually the type of government that I would totally endorse.
Nah, I can't endorse none of it. And then I remember the one scene that friends at school will talk about the most was when the master was banging the chick, and and she interrupts to tell her what happened, and he was like, "Oh, that's nothing," and then he goes back to smashing and giving her new orders. I was like, "Well, damn, bro, man, your whole clan, half your clan got wiped out, and you don't care."
To quote Mel Brooks in the History of the World, it's good to be the king.
and that's why
and it's good to be the dark shogun.
And that's why he got wiped out without us even knowing it.
The only thing missing would be like, who's the master?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, and yeah. That's why like
I'll never forget when I watched Dragon Ball Z, when I bought the Japanese tape with the original Japanese voice actors and all the music, which the music was great in the Japanese version of Dragon Ball Z. And then I was like, hold up, man, I don't remember this scene in the Western version. They definitely cut out a whole lot. So yeah, they be watering it down big time.
So it's also like that's also like really good today because we have access like to uncut material.
Yeah.
Because remember like in the day, when there was like before you could research it on the internet, when there was like rumors like, oh, there's a long and uncut version of it, and I heard that a friend of a friend of a friend has it.
Another character of the demons that I like was the one that blended into the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. When he came and like he had the glow, and the government agent like hit up like as a pre-branch
power.
Yeah, so that was stunning.
Yeah, it was a loop. But again, it's not surprising when you really look at certain characters in Japanese anime. It's like, man, they look like they swing both ways.
and also, it's the thing. It's in generally when you do the banging, it's not gay. It's only gay when you're the receiving end.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of watching these films, is that you get these little character tidbits that it's not the focus of the movie. Exactly. You just get this as a little background tidbit, but they don't try and shove it into your face. If this shit was made nowadays, they would try and shove it in your face, and it's like, no. Let that be a little tidbit that we just say, okay, we know about that,
and let a villain be a villain. Those are the good days when villains were still villains.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the way like that he went out, like in his golden hell, with them, because like he is immortal, he can like piece himself together. So basically, to having like encapsulated like in molten gold and in the water is actually it's a fate way worse than death.
And he gets to go down with the gold. The fire gets started, all the gold is burning and it's merging with the water.
Fantastic, like fantastic drawn scene. The dynamics of like how the gold flows, like with the water, how it hardens. Like this must have been such like an immense task to like draw all of this, but totally worth it.
And when you really look at this, like, man, how would Jubei defeat him, considering that he's immortal? And
exactly, because he tried everything.
He cut his arm off, he split him in half, he did all this, and this man's just reattaching himself. So without that element of the gold melting and then latching onto him.
Yeah, there is a way, of course, to get the gold off, but until it does it, it must really suck.
Like who's gonna go down to the bottom of the ocean to get it off?
because also like the other thing is maybe like he can survive it, but he probably also has like the pain of drowning still. So basically he's dying and like recovering, dying and recovering. So that's a nightmare.
Either way, it's a good thing that it happened, because had that not happened, Jubei would have been in a long ass fight. Because he broke his arm, the good arm with
the good.
So he's like, damn, now he's one armed and he's got to fight this machine that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him on the pedestal, man. Gemma, Shogun of the Dark. But yeah, the ending was fantastic.
Yeah, there's only one Shogun that we care about.
Shogun of Harlem. Gemma wouldn't stand a chance against Sho'nuff.
Yeah. Who's the master? Sho'nuff!
But yeah, the ending was fantastic, and the build up to it. And I do like when Jubei rejected what's her name's offer to have sex, to make love, to cure the poison. At first he brought her in to embrace her, and then he just backed away and went to do the mission. Because he was, again, it's like it shows his character.
You have no idea how much this scene bothered me when I was a teenager. Like, dude, come on!
She took off her robe and she's offering herself to you, and you just passed it up.
Yeah, it's like as a teenager, like I think my dick cried, but not in a good way. It was the pre-cum of tragedy.
Hey, we are unfiltered. Y'all already know this. Especially VV, he is completely unfiltered. But that's what makes this show
I swear, this is a regular black tea. I swear.
Nah, they put something in that black tea.
It's an Austrian water.
Now you think of what Tensei did in this film. Hey, yo, what was up with the shadow dude when he captured Kurega? He did think he gave her the finger.
Well,
I was wondering, like, what was he trying to accomplish? See that?
No idea.
Hey, I really don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he was back alive, then he like.
I mean, if I see a big hulking dude that has like a scar that looks like a head got reattached, like I have my assumptions.
Because it would have been interesting to see go forward if he was successful with that move, to see how the Shogun of the Dark would have handled it. Because they're not gonna beat him. Because all he would have done was recreate more demons. The demons that died, no problem. He'll just go create some more. Because that's what they do. They'll upgrade the ninjas that they have on the squad to demon status. So if he was going to use the gold to recruit more and more ninjas, that would have made him unstoppable.
Yeah, gold, as we know, gold is one of the best superpowers.
It's also one of the worst things that ever, because it just brings out the greed in everybody. Yeah. Hey, you got gold? Oh, I'll join. I'll sign up.
The ecstasy of gold.
So like I said, this movie is just so good. Anything else you want to add to it?
Just a perfect anime. Absolutely love it, and it was so fantastic to. Actually, I'm happy that I haven't seen it since I was a fucking teenager, so that I have like almost like like 25 years or something, like in between. And I still value it for the exact same reasons, but I value it also for many more reasons. Like also the plot really drew me in, the character depiction, beginning with the story. There is nothing that I would change about this movie. Absolutely nothing. And I really think that this is one of the pillars and one of the gold standards of anime.
I agree 100%. Like you said earlier, between this, Akira, and Ghost in the Shell, those are like top tier animes that really like revolutionize what animes could be done as movies.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, you got Fist of the North Star, you got Angel Cop, you got Gunsmith Cats. There was just so many animes that came and went. Like it's just, and I'm just diving into more and more watching the stuff, and I'm like, I'm just falling into watching more old school anime.
Yeah, and we were so lucky in the 90s, that we grew up exactly in that time, because if you want to be introduced to anime, you want to be introduced like through these movies. And this is like what really sparked our love for this. I wouldn't say genre, for this style of animation, because of course you can. Guy, we're like, oh damn,
somebody playing it this coming weekend. The guy.
Yeah.
Then
just never watched the
movie,
the live action one with my.
Hey, I'll never forget though. They did Mark Hamill dirty in that film. The way they advertised it, they like, you think Mark Hamill was the guy, but he wasn't. And then what they did to him later on, I'm like, the fuck? I know I ain't watched this.
Let's just say he's a pussy and he deserves it.
I was like, they did him mad dirty in that film. But the anime, yes, the Guyver anime is top notch. And then what else good? Like I grew up with the Western version, the American versions of Robotech, Gundam Wing, Voltron. All the big tech anime.
And of course, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Like all that stuff, man. Grew up watching. But yeah, like I said, I Ninja Scroll is just amazing, perfect.
Absolutely.
I watched it twice within the last week, and the Blu-ray is coming out the end of this month. I think January 28th it releases. So I already pre-ordered that. I'll probably pre-order the Steelbook for Akira because that's a reasonable price.
Actually, anime was here in Europe from the moment it came out very popular, like immediately. And because I remember back in the days, like usually we didn't really have like comic shops here, so we bought like comics from like the bookstore at the train stations, mostly, after school, go to the train station to the bookstore. And there were way more animes, and like animes actually got like on their own stores, while comics didn't really had, except for Vienna, like in the rest of Austria, didn't really had like a representation on store shelves. So I remember actually that the only real comics what I've seen, we didn't even get the Wizard magazine. We only got the Inquest magazine, like because everybody was playing Magic the Gathering. And I do remember some Witchblade comics here, but not really American superhero comics. But like for anime, like you had like a huge selection.
Another one that I've been watching recently is Shadow Skill. Got that.
I don't know that one.
Huh?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I'm being introduced to it on some of these channels that I've been watching lately. Maybe I'll send you the link but they just have like think of it as retro Saturday mornings. They have various cartoons on it. They got a Saturday morning one and then the Japanese animation one.
What is also really cool, which is actually an anime that totally flopped in Japan, but totally was big here, and probably also in the US, was Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs.
Okay, I think I heard of that.
So can you feel the thunder inside, Saber Riders?
Yeah, I'll have to check that. I think I heard of that
one. That was glorious. But it can also be that this one was more popular here in Europe.
It's funny that a lot of American shows in the 80s were animated overseas in Japan and Korea. So, we've taught real Ghostbusters. Like, you look at the early seasons, it damn near looked Japanese anime style.
And of course, the whole... so basically, the whole Lion King was stolen from the Japanese Kimba, which was actually one of my earliest anime memories when I was 6 years old. Like on German public TV, and there was Kimba the White Lion. So when 10 years later, or 8 years later or something, then Disney did the Lion King. It's like, I know that story. That's Kimba.
Man, but like I said, there's just so much anime that I remember one, and I think Sci-Fi Channel used to play it back when it was the Sci-Fi Channel and not whatever it is now. But it was one that had like a Japanese animation. I can't remember the name of it, but it had big giant roaches. After the whole people. I was like, shit, this looked good. But it came on late at night, and I couldn't watch it.
But also was interesting, all the shows where basically the Japanese did like European history or like American stories. For example, like the Treasure Island anime. That one was fucking glorious. Had one of the most catchiest theme songs. And of course, like Lady Oscar, the series of the French Revolution was also fantastic. And then you also, of course, had the whole Heidi, the Swiss Alps and everything. So, and of course, I also think that the Japanese Alice in Wonderland was also really good. I remember that one. And of course, one anime that is actually, I think, was the most popular, in Germany, was Captain Future. We had even this whole comic book run of Captain Future here. This is one of the best space operas.
I watched Gotcha Man last weekend.
Yeah, Space Battleship Yamato.
Space Battleship Yamato. Speed Racer. I grew up watching the reruns of Speed Racer so much, I'll never forget though my brother. I left my VHS tape in the VCR, and it was Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior WrestleMania match. My brother was playing with the remotes, and he recorded Speed Racer over the wrestling match. And I remember watching it. I was like, "What the fuck is this? The Speed Racer?"
And Sean,
go Speed Racer, go! I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Did you? Yeah, because especially what Chase already did to Alvin. Well, so you gotta put the leg drop of doom, atomic leg drop on him.
And going back to Dan's earlier comment about Voltron, man, I remember when I first watched, and that's one thing. There was so many big mech battle robot shows in the 70s and 80s. Voltron and Robotech, Gundam Wing. It's man, all these stuff that came over from Japan that got put over to the US. I first watched Voltron on. I think it was on USA Network.
And of course, Transformers. Where did the Transformers design come from?
Exactly,
the GUG-1. Yeah.
So all that stuff was.
But since you already mentioned WrestleMania, the Battle Royale is coming up, and so for next week, we're gonna talk Royal Rumble.
Yes, next week. With the Royal Rumble being the following Saturday, the first Saturday of February, next Friday we're gonna do our Royal Rumble special, similar to what we did with Survivor Series.
Yeah, so we talk about our favorite Royal Rumble memories, and I do have to say I'm not looking forward to this year. Because fucking Cena. You know, I really hope it's the last. I this year I watch as little WWE as possible because I just want to see fucking John Cena. He already destroyed my love for wrestling once. And now, and even these fucking new fans cheering him. How can you cheer John Cena? Like I say, there's nothing gayer than an adult man wearing a John Cena t-shirt. Like this is the lowest form of masculinity. Like there should be a penalty against adult men wearing John Cena merch. Yeah.
I would never wear John Cena stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody with a pride in himself would wear a John Cena merch.
But there's only one man we can believe.
Hulk Hogan?
No.
John Henry. Joe
Henry. New TNA champ, finally.
Yeah. And you know what is even more glorious when I watch NXT the week. Actually, I'm just watching NXT now because NXT is fire. That Marsha Slamovich on NXT.
Oh man.
Absolutely glorious because I'm a big GCW fan, and it's like Marsha is just she's a real deal.
Man, I'm missing some comments here.
Yeah. Nice.
And you know what's funny though? Like when I mentioned this off air on the Common Call crew, and I mentioned it earlier to you, is like the whole debate on sub and dub. Because I think a couple weeks ago, Rinse Repeat posted a Yu Yu Hakusho, and it was like a redub of the English dub, and people was like, "Man, I hate this dub. It's the worst dub ever." And it was the first time I watched that film, and I didn't have a problem with the dubbing, but I can understand why some people prefer either subs over dubs.
That's one of these things I'm just saying. I'm personally, if I don't speak a language, I will go for the original language with subtitles.
Yeah.
Because you still, even though you don't understand the language, I just think that that emotions are something that is carried out via voice. Thank you, Big Remote. Like worldwide. This is like the way you phrase something, and it's always closer and true in the original language. But I also have to say that I don't discriminate when somebody wants to watch it like in a dubbed version. I just think it's important that we have the choice either or.
Yes, exactly. Because sometimes I'm stuck with the dub. I grew up with the dub, and I prefer it. But I don't mind watching the sub as well, so I can experience both sides. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's like you want to experience both the dub and the sub.
And sometimes even, for example, with Conan the Barbarian, I think that the German dubbing, this is like one of the rare cases where I think it fits more Robert E. Howard than the American one. The original one is like one of the few cases.
Yeah, it's good either way. When Ninja Scroll, we both talked about how the English dub may be fine if you first watched it.
Yeah.
That, if I had first watched Ninja Scroll in English dub, that will probably be my preference. But after watching it in Japanese dub for so long and watching it in English, I'm like, I prefer the Japanese subtitles
Yeah,
because the voice
like in
acting
that
was
case,
better.
yeah, it's like in that case, it's really, it's like the cherry on the top of the cake.
Yeah, and to me personally, I can go either or. Like you said, we have the option to choose whether we want to watch dub or sub.
Exactly.
And if I really don't want to read the subtitles, I'll just go with the dub.
Yeah. And like I say, like what I already mentioned a lot about comics, like especially like here in Europe, that of course like you can order like the American comics, like here, but there's also like the German translated one, and basically that the people who read, for example, Marvel or DC in German have absolutely, like, they're different community, they're different people than us who are like reading them in English. Like totally two different fan bases that absolutely have no crossover. Like I don't have any contact with people that read American comics in German. That's and this is like it's just evolved like that because there's like totally two different mindsets. But I'm also like I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying it's good for people that are not fluent in English, that they have the possibility to also read these stories in German.
And one thing I like about subs is that it improves your ability to read the language and pay attention to the animation at the same time. Once you start to really get the grasp of paying attention and enjoying it, then subtitles shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly. And sometimes it even doesn't matter if you understand the language or not, which Sean knows from watching Violent Shit 3.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Because I was like, I don't understand what's going on, but at the same time, I'm enjoying the fuck out of this movie. As crazy and ridiculous as it was. So I was like, fuck it, man. If the captions don't come up, I'm still gonna enjoy this film for what it is. So that movie, first time watching, I was like, yo, PV watched this crazy ass shit, but it's hilarious. The kills are just over the top, exaggerated, and the movie is just so far out there. And it really does make me think of the craziness that American movies did in the 70s and 80s. The cocaine was off the chain.
Oh, those were the days. Yeah,
I didn't mind that though.
Exactly. It's like and just always always I always say enjoy what you like, and as long if nobody else takes it away from you, don't mind what other people's like.
And when I was watching that Yu Yu Hakusho movie and people was constantly complaining, I was like, man, let me just close this chat and enjoy the film. Because that's all that matters to me. Yeah, go ahead.
And what a lot of people have to learn, most because of for their own sanity's sake and for their own enjoyment of life, is that, for example, I love the Witcher novels. I love Witcher 1, Witcher 3. Witcher 1 actually did not enjoy. The gameplay was horrible. I haven't seen a single episode of the Netflix Witcher series because after the trailer I was like, that's absolutely different. But the thing is this doesn't put a damp on like the Witcher that I like. I think too many people feel personally offended by something fictional, while if there are also like with a lot of anime adaptations in live action where 99% of them are absolute garbage, doesn't take anything away from the joy of the original. People have to learn to ignore things that they don't like, because if they complain about it, if they hate about it, first of all, they are the thieves of their own joy. They are worrying more about things that they don't like than actually enjoying things that they like. And the other thing is that all these Hollywood studios are monetizing your hate.
Hate is being monetized so much now,
Exactly,
even
yeah.
more. But yeah, that's my whole take on it. I enjoy subs. I enjoy dubs. It doesn't matter. One is better than the other. It really don't matter. I'm still gonna finish the Ninja Scroll series because I do want to watch the rest of it. Like I started half of it. I'm probably about episode 5, episode 6. So I want to get. It's like 13 episodes. I want to get through the rest of that. I'll tolerate the English dub just so I can enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, and I also found out today that there are Ninja Scrolls comics by Wildstorm. I think a 12 issue run or something.
Yes. Yeah, 12 issue run. And great conversation, great discussion, especially in the chat. Shout out to the Al, Remo, and Dan P.
The moment we're talking about naked anime chicks, somehow people are in the chat. Yeah.
I had a feeling that, talking this film will probably bring the chat open a bit because, Ninja Scroll is a classic anime. It's a classic movie, and people showed up to support us talking this film. So, with that in mind, like I said, we're going to close out the month with our Royal Rumble special, and then we have Black History Month.
Next week, with a tear in my eye.
That Rumble is still my top. I can't wait. Because I got 2 different lists. I got favorite Royal Rumbles, the 4 Royal Rumble matches, and then favorite non-Royal Rumble matches, the matches that took place before the Rumble match or after.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we both have the number 1 with Ric Flair.
Number 1 with a bullet, man. That's like the reliving the war already being over. We already know who won. We just gonna enjoy the ride because Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff stuff is starting next week on reliving the war. So with that in mind, yes, it is the GOATs. Yes, PD, we strong. We will do that next month.
I still have to get through a list, and I still have to get a hold of the movie.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a hold of it because the site that I use is starting to act up, man. And I'm like
in Europe, there is it's dark. It's the dark days where basically you already have to hunt down sometimes obscure DVDs.
And how are you with the movies that are you good with talking?
I still have to go through it. I have to admit I didn't have yet the time to go through it and look, but I'm gonna do it this weekend and then give you the list. And also have to send you the Cobra Verde the Cobra Verde stats.
And he said he could send it to me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But we're going to sign out. Great show. We'll see y'all next week. If y'all show up for the Royal Rumble show. If not, we'll see y'all the week after.
Yeah.
But have a great weekend, y'all. Peace.